Wife of 8 years had an affair and left me devastated during the divorce. Now I'm struggling to heal and be a good dad to our son post-divorce. I, 31 am still truly heartbroken over all of this. I'm sitting outside the courthouse after turning in the final decree of divorce. My cheating crappy wife 30F last Wednesday dropped by my work so I could have her sign the final papers, and though we were busy, my brother and I run a store, I had her come to the back to sign the final paperwork. She read it over as I was doing some tasks in the back, and then I noticed she's at the final page and she looking at it and looking at me. And not just glancing, she's got a light well up of tears and is looking like she's pleading. It's infuriating. I tell her not to do this crap and to sign it or don't sign it. She looks at me, opens her mouth, then closes it. I get pissed and tell her to say what she has or wants to say, but don't do crap like this. That she's dating other people, hooking other people, and that she's shown me nothing of wanting to fix our relationship. She signs and walks out with her head down. I have to chase her down to ask her about our stimulus, and end up in her car and talking for a second. She asks about our son. He's not mine blood, but I've been there for him since he was 4, and me, and if we talk. I tell her that he doesn't really talk to me despite me saying hey in the morning and trying to start conversations. She just nods her head and looks sad. I calmly tell her that I'm giving her this one opportunity to say what she has to say, and she just stares at me. I get angry and tell her that she never loved me in the first place. She's got tears running down her face as she says that it's not true, and I tell her that if she did love me she wouldn't have even thought of cheating. That I was hers, and any of the times that I've been alone or been approached and hit on I always politely declined, mentioned that my wife wouldn't appreciate that and walked away, and never would have even contemplated cheating. Ever. I told her to contact me when she had my money, and that I wish I had known that she didn't love me in the first place, and that it would have saved me the time, trouble and pain of marrying and loving her. It's destroying me, and tomorrow is the hearing to end it all. I'm healing and I'm finding joy in things that I used to do and enjoying exercise more and more. I'm looking better and getting attention from women, and it's nice, but I can't seem to find it in me to really want to talk to them or try for a date. My heart still wants her. My heart still loves her, and I wish I could rip it out and bury it forever. I know it's necessary to go through the feelings, work through them and embrace this new life, but I'm just having a difficult time. I'm sure that all this coming to an end is just bringing out all these feelings. Comments: you did what you had to. It will take some time before you put this behind you. Her crocodile tears are over losing a home base to monkey branch from. Cheating is the ultimate disrespect and never comes from a place of love. You are better off, and time will let you move on. For certain. I appreciate the support, and I'm working on the moving on part. Got a lot of I just wishes to try to push away and let go. You love who she once was, she isn't that person now. It's a hard process, but it takes time to disconnect that. If anything, take this time to enjoy what you do now and heal. Actually, it makes you a better person overall. You don't turn your feelings on and off, don't ever compromise your morals or standards. Don't pressure yourself to find another partner. Be selective, date for a while when you are ready. It's not really pressure that I'm feeling, but I absolutely understand, and I'm really not trying to jump into another relationship, let alone give my body to just some woman. I think the biggest thing I'm rushing is wanting to not feel anything for her. Like you said, it's a process. And oh man, there are moments when I do want to compromise my morals. I want to email blast all the parents of my son's soccer team to tell them everything about the person that she is. I want to post it all over Instagram and print flyers to post it all about favorite spots. But that's not me. That's not the person I am, and I know it. I'm just still hurting, and I'm truly trying to heal. Thank you for the support and kind words. They really mean a lot. I get that. It feels so unfair and no justice in this world. My grandmother always told me, don't jump in the mud with the pigs, you will get dirty too and would be mistaken for a pig too. Don't lower yourself. Some don't believe in karma, and karma is very slow but also methodical. She will, one day, be exposed, or something will happen that will give her the justice deserved. Know that. All you can do is know. Those closest to you will. Your children will one day. They will also see you as the one who didn't lower yourself. Just be kind to yourself. Update 1, that was yesterday's post. Here I am today. Single. More than likely in shock. I don't know how to feel other than I am feeling this giant pit in my stomach. She knows what time I was going to the hearing. I feel like a Zoom call to the court is just so damn impersonal, but of course I understand, safety first, then teamwork. It doesn't really feel real. I mean, I can get a copy of the signed paperwork and I can say that I'm divorced and all those things. But it just doesn't feel or hasn't really hit me. My few friends are asking me if I want to go out and celebrate. They're sweet about it, they're not being crass or vindictive. They're just wanting to be there for me, and that feels nice. I just don't know how to go about this. I know I should feel free, or maybe I should be sobbing again. Oddly enough, I just want to hear my wife's voice. But I don't have a wife anymore. Just some stranger who wears her face and sounds like her. I can feel tears welling up, but it's just a resigned kind of feeling. Here I am. Just me. Oh, and my dog. Yes, I have a wonderful and amazing family, and I have very few friends, but they are the best, so support is covered. I just feel like I'm empty, tired, Drained? I don't know what my next step is. Call my son, tell him that it's happened? Say F it all and fly to Italy and start scoping properties? Go home to Vegas for a recharge in the desert with my old friends? Just laying here in silence and staring at the ceiling sounds like what I really want to do, but of course life must move, and so should I. Thank you all for the support and suggestions to books. I am picking those up today and I'm excited to at least do that. I never thought I'd be here. Comments: the timing's terrible for Italy, but that gets my enthusiastic vote once it's COVID practical. Vegas is a short-term possible with friend activities rather than the still skeletal and depressing casino/resort life. The weather and the mountains are gorgeous. I just flew out of McCarran yesterday. I'm in the same boat, my friend. I am signing papers this afternoon at 3 p.m. It's been almost 2 years to the day that she left and I abandoned our family on our 22nd wedding anniversary. I echo every word you are saying. I just feel so empty. So tired of the fight. Hang in there, brother, better things are in wait for us. We just have to be patient and kind to ourselves. One breath at a time, one step in front of the other. Remember this. We deserve better. Damn, I feel the pain in your words. Sorry. Update 2. Last time I posted, so above is the last post I made. Still kind of messed up inside and it's actually really bothering me right now. My ex-wife. Crazy to type it out. Was on her way to work and so was I. We both stopped at the same intersection. I was going to turn left onto the overpass and she was turning right to hop onto the freeway I had just gotten off of. My heart and stomach leapt with same exciting metal butterflies cutting up my insides in the familiar exciting and recently horrible ways. We made eye contact until the light changed and drove on our separate ways. I couldn't imagine a much more apt way for things to be literally and figuratively, but nonetheless here I am typing out my pain, still feeling the longing, sadness, anger, disappointment, nausea, and a myriad of other depression-inducing emotions. For the love of God, I just wish I could feel indifference. F this deep-seated love that I wish I could rip out, root and all. F her and her nonsense excuses. F being in love with her still because it is exactly what I don't want to feel, but there is it. I have the sweetest nightmares of her, and recently they've never been more vivid. Her scent, her warmth, the feeling of her hair touching the skin of my face and blending with my beard, the feel of her soft skin against my bare chest, the rhythm of her heart against my arms when I held her in the dark. I hate that she's left such an imprint on me when it was just so effing easy for her to destroy everything that we had built together. Yes, I know, it's over. Yes, I know, the feeling might never go away. Yes, I know it'll take time to process the trauma. I'm tired of processing, and feeling the pain flowing, and crying, and reminding myself that it's okay, and also reminding myself that it's okay to be beyond not okay. I miss feeling even keeled. Every day is like I'm standing on a platform balancing on a damn barrel. Some days, it's all good, I got this, balance can be maintained, and I've been doing it for like 8 months so I should be used to this. Other days, it's just like I can't find a single bit of relief from the effing pain of betrayal and falling off the stupid crap platform because balance is nonsense right now. Clearly we can tell what kind of day this one was. Always gets worse before it gets better, right? I effing hate platitudes. Update 3, last post above is the last post made at the 3-week point. Yesterday I attended our son's middle school soccer game and God. Seeing him and how much he has changed and how giant he is, he'll be 14 in November, just brought so much happiness and joy to my heart. He's so damn tall and his voice is cracking and it's just so strange to not have witnessed it firsthand. I didn't see my ex-wife until almost halftime when some strange feeling like I was being watched came over me on the bleachers and I turned where the feeling was and locked eyes directly with her. She was sitting with her parents. Sadly they lost the game, but they rocked it in spite of the loss. As people filed off the bleachers I stood waiting for the team to make its way and her parents walked by. I nodded my head and spoke their first names, only to be passed by like I hadn't said a word. I chuckled and just let the crowd move. I went to where the team exited and waited for my son and it was wonderful to hug him and speak to him not on a phone or through text. Every second is an exciting feeling of seeing one another. Finally the ex walks up and says loving things to our son. I ask when the next game is since I have to rely on her for those details. It's clinical the way we speak to each other, she knows we aren't good and we definitely aren't friends. That message was pretty clear after telling her so when she tried to sit next to me at the last game. She says to him let's go and he gives me a big hug and I tell him I love him. It's hard to let go, but I do. I don't look at her and I don't say goodbye to her as I turn and walk the opposite direction to my car, though everything in my being wants to run over and grab her, kiss those lips, hold that body in my arms and feel her warmth and that heartbeat I listened to and treasured for almost a decade. I feel slightly betrayed by my heart because of it and I have to forcefully keep it in check. No tears, at least not until I get home and in the silence contemplate everything, but they're minimal. Still trying to navigate these feelings, even this morning. I had more sweet nightmares of her. Again, I feel like I'm fighting my own body, my own mind. I'm doing everything I can. I'm working out almost daily. Eating clean with maybe 1 or 2 cheat meals a week. I've thrown myself into my brother and I's business and it's thriving. We've never had this many employees and it's wonderful to be honest. I'm reading a lot more and learning about stocks and investing, on top of getting certified for IT work. Most of all, my corgi, Jack, is always wanting to play, and he's my other little boy, so I gotta. It's strange, trying to fill the void. It definitely feels like that right now. A giant gaping void inside of me. I loved being a husband and a father. We almost had a second child when Hurricane Harvey rolled into Texas, and we were safe, dry, and were not affected at all in our place. Lots of segs, fun, silly, intensely exotic segs, but by November we knew she was pregnant. Eventually, because of money and space and our current situation, we both agreed we shouldn't have another child, and terminated. I've started to think back to it because I wonder if things would be different. If we would be in this place, and if she would have effed another person. Yes, I know the what if game never is a good place to be, never is a good thing to go at, but recently it's just surfaced more and more in mind. Let alone the dreams, like I had last night. My beautiful wife and what could have been my little girl or our second little boy. And it makes me miss my son all the more. It angers me that she wouldn't let me adopt him, and only after all this crap happened did she say that I could. Sorry for the long post, just kind of venting and replaying last night in my head. I know it's still early, and still very fresh after the divorce, and it hasn't even been a year since she ruined our relationship. I guess all I can say is that I'm not okay today. I haven't left the bed just yet, and it's almost 10 a.m. I hate that she has such an effect on me and how I feel whenever I see her. Update 4, last post 7th of April, 2021, hey everyone. I've reached a sense of indifference finally. I really don't know what to say, other than I'm feeling happy regularly. I'm cooking more, trying new things, and working out on a schedule now. I've picked up writing again, and am working on a short story for now. I've traveled to Denver to see the Phoenix Suns beat the Nuggets. I'm about to head to Oregon to visit a cousin and do some hiking and tubing in a new place. It's different though, my relationship with my son. I reach out and he's busy a lot. I'm doing the best I can to be understanding, but man, this is what it feels like to have a full-on teenage son, huh? Lunches or dinners here and there. I'll take what I can get, I guess. I just miss being around him regularly. I've started dating someone. She's absolutely amazing. Independent, brilliant, strong, mature, runs her own businesses, and we are going slow. She knows my situation and both of us are being wary of jumping in too fast, but it feels fantastic. A ton in common, communication flows easily and intentions are clear, and it's just peaceful even when we just hang out. I'm trying to watch myself to keep from any bad patterns or habits. It just feels good to feel good again. Yesterday she posed a question of what will happen if and when another guy gets involved with my son, and honestly I don't know. I'll be there for him is all I deign to think or say, but if he doesn't reach out, then it's just me having to sit back and hope for the best for him. I have no rights or legal clout in this. I really don't feel anything for my ex, thankfully, and I have seen her face to face. I don't know what tomorrow will hold, but I'm trying to take it a day at a time, and I just hope I don't screw this up with this fantastic woman, that my son and I can have a better relationship, and that I keep healing and finding happiness more and more, whatever that entails. Thank you all for your support, your advice, book suggestions and encouragement. 7th of May, 2021, update to this update. So, that was short-lived. Sadly, the amazing woman was freaked out by the fact that I was divorced in April, feels that I'm not over my ex because I refer to our son as that our son. I only refer to him that way because of co-parenting and the fact that I have to go through her for anything regarding him, and that I have a son. She's also saying that she's dealing with a breakup with a guy that she loved 3 months ago, and that she realizes that she still needs to heal from that. The healing I can understand, but I couldn't imagine involving anyone new with my son at this age. He'll be 14 in November, and it's effing weird when people are telling me what I feel and them being wrong. Also, she doesn't want to be a stepmom, she has a little 4-year-old girl. Never even brought that up, and again, I'm keeping that part of my life away from this current part. Why this bothers me, I feel like I'm marked even though I didn't do anything wrong in my previous relationship. After being honest with each other and such, just because I'm divorced and have a much older kid that would more than likely never be part of the relationship that we would have, it's held against me. Feels really unfair. If I'm open and honest about what my situation and all, I'm accused of not over my ex. If I hold that back and not say anything, I'm not being honest about things. Update 5, disclaimer, I tried posting this earlier as an explanation of what went down when everything first began, as some people have asked how this all started and how I ended up where I am now. This is not recent, but started back in July of last year. I'm far removed from all this and grateful for all the advice, encouragement and kicks in the crap from people that have experienced and are being supportive. Alright. So, as far as things went, it all began rolling downhill in July of 2020. June was great, we had gone to a little getaway with our son and his friend. They hung out, we had fun together and sex was good. July came around and we were having issues. Spats over stupid little things, her not interested in intimacy, I'd be interested in her day but her showing no interest in me, extended times in the bathroom as well as baths all of the damn time, and yet she wants to complain that we don't spend time together. July passes like this. August gets more strained and she even tries to act like things are alright. Shows me lingerie, says it's going to be for my birthday. Birthday comes around, she buys me a couple of records but nothing. I had a long day at work, she did too, supposedly, and we just end up cooking and chilling together. I figure it's a weekday, it's whatever. She offers segs but doesn't really seem there. Eventually in September, we had a few big fights, one of which she asked to have some time to herself. I thought this was suspect, and I was crazy distraught as I felt our marriage was crumbling. I was right. I took the dogs and left to stay with my brother and family for the night. The next day I came home in the afternoon. She had said she wanted to go out with her friends before I got there, and I never stopped her from being with her friends. I got home around 12. She got home at 6ish. I saw her, told her I was happy to see her. She mumbles. The month was terrible and that week was especially so. She's not kissing me, she's rude and snide and straight up cruel. I'm asking her to talk to me, to tell me what's going on. I notice things aren't right and I want us to be okay. An acquaintance, now a really good friend, sees me at work and shows concern. I explained to him how I love my wife, we've been together 8.5 years and 1.5 married at this point, and I don't know what to do. He recommended marriage counseling and says he's been through something like this. Suggest I get the 5 love languages and another I can't think of at the moment. I read up immediately. I come to the realization that I had been prioritizing my work, own my own business with my brother, because we've been overloaded since COVID and business has been booming. But nonetheless I never stopped trying to love or be intimate, in conversations and physically, but she had dropped off. The very same day I come home, she's sick and I take care of her. The next morning as she's getting ready I calmly and lovingly ask if we could talk a bit before she leaves. I tell her everything I learned from the book, I read the whole damn thing the night before, and that I had felt I had been inattentive and that I loved her and that we should go to marriage counseling and try to fix what we've because we love each other and we have our son. Something I said must have triggered something in her because she broke down crying and began to repeat that I was going to hate her. Eventually after telling her to just be honest with me she admitted that she cheated on me the past weekend when she said she was going to be with her friends. I was in shock, blown away, but I loved my wife, I loved my marriage, I love my son, so like a fool I told her that it was okay, that I could forgive her, but she had to completely come clean about all of it. She then clammed up. No names, no info, just that she had been talking to AP since July, and had carried on an emotional affair until that day in September. How can I believe her? I don't. I tell her she's made a joke of our marriage, our vows. This was on a Thursday. I try to have a discussion with her that night, she refuses and gives little. Says she never agreed to talk about things but that she told AP that she had told me about them. Friday rolls around and it's the same. I'm dry heaving, hadn't slept, felt creepy, angry, destroyed inside. Eventually Saturday comes and my brother, seeing the wreck that I am, tells me to go stay home and handle what's going on. She gets up, goes works out, and all the while I'm a wreck. I call my father, who has been the cheater in his marriage, but my mother and him worked it out and have had a fantastic marriage for 38 years now, and ask for his advice. He tells me it's not a mistake, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she needs to make a choice, and if she doesn't, then that tells you everything you need to know. I get myself together because I am a wreck. I clean the house and make sure my son is all taken care of. Then I go down to our apartment gym and tell her that she needs to come and talk to me once she's done. Half an hour later she comes up, and I calmly tell her that she needs to choose our family and our marriage or AP. I don't know is all I get, and she asks for a little time. I agree on the basis that she doesn't contact him or see him. She agrees and goes running for 2 hours. I can see where she is on a nap. She comes back, finally notices that I had cleaned the apartment and cries. I ask her what she shows us, again it's a slew of I don't knows. I press, and she says it's over. I say okay, and though I'm crying, I grab a duffel bag, fill it with some clothing, and she's crying because I'm actually leaving. I kiss my son, tell him that I'm going to stay at his uncle's for a little and he's distracted by video games and he's okay. I tell her I'll be back in the morning for the rest of my stuff and I bail. The next morning, I get there at like 6, and I immediately grab garbage bags and walk into our bedroom, into the bathroom/closet, and start loading everything that is mine into them. She sits up in bed with tears and is just watching me. Asked what I'm doing and I told her that she had made her decision and it starts sobbing. My heart is broken, but it's also wanting my wife. Again, like a fool, get into bed with her and hold her and kiss her for half an hour. I tell her it doesn't have to be this way, but she has to come clean. Silence. So I'm furious and I yell at her that all of this was for nothing. I bag my C up, tell her that my father and brother are at the cafe 5 minutes away waiting for my call to come and help me get the heavy stuff. By this time it's 11 in the morning. And I had bagged everything. She asks what we will tell our son. We go and wake him up and give him a sham of an excuse about communication breaking down. She says she doesn't want to see my family, don't blame her because she's ashamed. She takes our son to go shopping and I can tell he's a little messed up and confused. I call my dad and brother and they come. We grab my 3 DVs, all the electronics that I had gotten to make our place smart. Of course I left my son all his cool stuff. I love him and none of this is his fault. And before I leave, she texts me not to go and to wait for her and our son. I wait, the place looks like it's been robbed, and she walks in. She tells me not to go. Also that our son knocked over a display in anger and says he wishes we could still be a family. I give her a face that says nothing good and then I tell her that of course he does and it's what I want, but what the hell does she want? Again with the I don't knows. I say that there isn't a point for me to stay. I make her tell her parents because they would be furious if they had to find out from our son. The week coming is the first week of October. I try to keep our son on a schedule. I show up for him to take him to school and make him breakfast, but I'm also taking him to his grandparents' house some morning when I have to show up early at work. They ask what's going on. I dump everything on them. I tell them I want us to fix things but she is sticking to her dumb I don't knows. Her dad is angry and sad for me since we've come to love and respect each other. She's texting me about how she hates herself and that she can't believe she did all this, all the while she's still talking to AP. Even goes to ask if we can get back together, and I tell her that she knows what she has to do if she wants me back. I pick up my son from practice during that week and being him home. He wants to show me something and I agree because I love him and we hang out for an hour in his room. I come out to the living room and she's a wreck. Asks me to sit down with her and she gets close to me and wraps her arms around me. I almost give in and I stand up, and I say that I'm not doing this if she's still talking or having anything to do with this guy. She says she ended it so I sit down and I hold her. We even kiss a little and I touch her, but then the phone rings a different ring and I can tell she's panicking inside. She says he's been calling all day since she ended it. I look at her in the eyes and ask her to show me that she ended it. She starts crying and refuses. I told her again, if she wants me she knows what she has to do. Throughout the week I'm still coming back to take my son to school and even making meals to put into the fridge for him. She's not doing laundry and I have to force myself not to do it for her, but I notice that my son's sheets are filthy, he stank from not showering, and I had to scold her because she's not taking care of him. That weekend her friends wanted to take her to the Ren Fair, and I'm floored by how she's playing all good. She asks if I can be there for our son just for a couple of hours. I say yes because I want time with him, but even I know that I'm not really ready for that. I agree anyway. I show up after work to pick him up from his friend's house and 4 other boys walk out and jump in my car. Apparently it was a sleepover. I'm furious. Not at him, but at her. I call her, she answers and realizes that I'm going to leave if she doesn't get back. It takes 3 hours for her to get back and she's acting all pissy about it. She has the gall to say that she shouldn't have to feel bad about celebrating her birthday with her friends and I tell her that she should feel bad because of all the is going on. That she took advantage and that this was never going to happen again. She cries and says what am I only supposed to be a mother? I don't even say anything to that, but goddammit yes, you chose this before I even came into the picture. We talk a little more and she even invites me to stay. Sleep in the same bed, and be together. I say no and I leave. My son seems sad. I keep going to and from even though it's draining me emotionally and my bank account because I'm staying 45 minutes away. Her parents only know what I've told them because she's dodging them too. It's the week of the 25th of October, my ex's birthday week, and it's been weird and I'm shamefully doing the pick me dance. It's Monday and I am sending sweet video messages and she's being nonchalant about it all. I go in the morning to take care of our son, take him to school, and then I do what I do on her birthday week. I start with a small gift to begin working my way up. I dust off a photo of us 3 in a pumpkin patch when we first got together. It's a beautiful picture. I'm about to leave, when I get this itch inside of me. I dunno what the hell provoked me, but I started snooping. I found a new shoebox, opened it and there's a new vibrator, new dildo, and new butt plugs. I threw all of our toys out when I left. She even kept the packaging and the postmarks were dated the following day that I had left, and they even had gift message with the prick's name. And then I noticed a letter inside this shoebox and it was from a woman, but with the same last name of AP's other gift message. I open it and see a photo of a family. 2 little boys, an infant, a dog, and a man and a woman. Along with it is a letter telling my ex that she had ruined her marriage and that she could keep AP and that she had found out because of the toys he had sent her. I took photos, and went straight to her parents and explained what I had found out. Her dad gave me the same advice that you all gave me. Get a lawyer, get all my ducks in a row, and then file. I did that very day. I gave her the paperwork when it arrived a few days later and for months we sat on it. Soccer games, a few intimate nights, I wouldn't dare have sex with her though it was there. Eventually it came to one soccer game where she saw I wasn't exactly at my best and I prodded until she told me if she was dating and she said she was. I turned in all the paperwork that week. I believe we're caught up. Update 6, so I went back to the same vacation spot I did last summer to do some snowboarding. This was my first real adventure that is singularly mine and it's just me out here. I didn't make the trip to distract myself or any of that. It's been 10 years since I hit the slopes and I did fairly well. It's something that has always made me happy and I can't say how emotionally gratifying it is to not have the drag of my ex-wife who didn't like anything like that, let alone snow or the cold. But walking around the city, I find myself thumbing my ring finger, trying to spin that ring that is long gone. Sure, Seeing couples doing the Valentine's Day things does put a slight weight in my heart, and now we are nearly 2 years divorced, but it's slightly disconcerting too. I guess miss having that ring there. Mostly what the ring should have represented, but in the end, with my ex, it was just a hunk of metal and a false promise. Just kind of reflecting, I suppose, but I can't tell you how absolutely dreamlike it's been just in one day, and how much joy and excitement, laughter and silliness that has filled my life after hurting so badly. Hell, I'm sore and in pain beyond what I can remember when I last went snowboarding, but this pain is one that I missed wholeheartedly. Anyway, for any of you struggling, and as trite as it might sound, it really does get better in time. Take the time to mourn, to hurt, but work with and through it. Work on yourself for yourself. And thank you all for listening and being there. Update 7. 2 years since the divorce. As the title says, this is the month that the divorce was finalized. The dreams are coming back, it seems. It's strange, we're in a house I've never seen, we're both bare, and she asks me to come upstairs with her. We get upstairs to what appears to be our room, and she looks me up and down, gives me that smile that I remember and loved, and says hi. I'm at a loss for words, and she approaches and puts her hands in mine, and all I can say is hi in response. She pushes her body into mine and I wrap her in my arms. I can feel her soft skin and warmth. I can even smell her shampoo. My dog woke me up seconds later, and honestly I'm glad for it. This is the second dream this month. I haven't seen the ex in months, since last November. It's weird to feel such things. More a what the heck kind of feeling. Building a house on my own recently, so that might be part of the whole reason for it popping up. Just kind of airing out my mind, I suppose. Things feel strange today. My best hopes for all of you that are hurting. Update 8. Yesterday I had a long-awaited talk with my son. I hadn't heard anything substantial from him since his last birthday, and it's been destroying me, but again, I already know how teens operate, and I'm sure dealing with his mom's annoying boyfriend along with middle school ending and going into high school has got to be a lot to deal with for him. Honestly, I was so excited that he finally picked up the phone and we had a pleasant conversation. Took a second of telling him what I was up to all this time. Building a house, our corgi getting older, and as always our love for video games brought him out of his shell. He's high-ranking in Rocket League and has been invited to a tournament with pros that's going to be streamed on Twitch, and I'm so excited for him. Says he'll send me the link and that we should keep talking. I take it as a small victory that he still thinks of me as dad, and I'm honored and filled with joy to hear such things from his now entirely changed voice. It was hours after the afterglow of speaking with him that my heart started feeling it again. It was more of a dull pain. Just aching deep to the core of me. It ached and irritated to the point where I hardly slept last night. My father noticed my demeanor and asked what was bothering me, and at first I couldn't really put it into words, but the second time he asked, it just poured out of me. Though I have sheer happiness when I have my son still there and I can be a part of his life in whatever fashion he wants. The weight and pain is still there enough to have my mind still want to know why. I know that the reason really doesn't matter at this point. Nor would it really bring me any solace. Everything is done and finished with, and I suppose even 2 years down the road it's still raw and aching. My feelings of love and adoration, let alone pride in being my son's dad, as well as how proud I am of him, are so tied into the love I also had for my ex, which only feels now serves as a painful reminder each time I interact with him. My father, a cheater in his own time, but made his amends and continues to do so to this day, told me this. Though I can't say that I know what you're feeling, coming from this side of your situation, you may need to ask yourself if the pain of all this, and sorrow that follows, if it's worth it for your mental health and general well-being to go on this way. I know that you love him with all your being, and that there is great joy in the time you share, but it's all followed by a day or two of recovery for you. I'm not telling you to quit on him, because if it were me trying to be there for you, I'd never give up, but maybe you need to let go of it all. You gave all of yourself, and I haven't seen you happy like you are now in a long time, but I can see the toll that it takes on you, with your feelings spidered as they are in both your love for your son and the pain you clearly still feel from how you were betrayed. I know that he's operating as a father who is watching his son struggle and seeing visible pain on my face that it is the last thing he would ever want, and knowing the lengths of his military training that taught him to be able to distance and look at as many perspectives as possible, I'm taking it as something of him trying to give me sound advice. I'm certain he doesn't mean to simply drop and disappear from my son's life, but maybe just to remain outside of it all. Maybe he just wants to save me from the pain that still infects my heart. Just airing out my thoughts, I suppose. My best wishes those hurting right now, and stay strong and keep positive for those who are healing. Comments: your initial approach and reaction to him calling was spot on op. This is all very difficult ground to traverse. Particularly for a teenager. Do not mention his mom, her boyfriend, their home life together. Make yourself and your relationship with your son an oasis. Be a non-judgmental beacon of light in his life. If the subject comes up, do not commit yourself to a position. Remain detached and impartial. Try to find out what his short-term bucket list is. Maybe you guys could tackle a couple of those together. Good luck. Thank you, and I 100% agree and abide to keeping any of the home life or anything regarding his mom out of our discussions. I make no judgments and make sure to talk about just him and I. I'm trying to help him with a list, but it's like feeling around in the dark. I just refuse to give up on him. That is the depth of my love. I appreciate it, and I will continue to keep in mind that what is ours should be an oasis.